event in Toronto on April 4th at the iconic St. Regis Hotel. Now for a chance to win VIP invitations to this exclusive party, make sure to follow EFC Movie on Instagram and to check out the latest post for contest details and participation. And I'll tell you what, not only will you get a chance to win, but also you can meet the EFC cast, as some are with us here today, and will be available to meet, greet, and take pictures with you during the breaks and intermission in front of the EFC backdrop and poster located right at the entrance of Rebel Nightclub. Hashtag EFC Movie, the fight for everything.
I think we're going to have 2 more before we take an intermission. 5 more fights still tonight. Awesome.
Yeah, this card is outstanding. Melissa Karagianis and Claudia Baril are coming up next. And then before intermission, Robin will roll on to Adam DeFreitas and Zachary Powell. And it looks like Mr. Throwdown's ready to get us back in.
Making their way out to the PFC cage. This contest is scheduled for 3 rounds in the strawweight division. Making her way out to the blue corner, please welcome Claudia Baril.
Claudia Baril is one of those, Robin, that we have the pleasure of seeing through the fog in the sport. She's 0-0 making her professional debut, and the information on her is scarce. We get the first look at what she's going to look like as a professional.
Yeah, I mean, I know she grew up an athlete, so competition is something that she's done, but man, you're going in here with a team behind you and you're getting in the cage to fight somebody who's in their 10th fight, their 10th pro fight, so that's a tough test for her. I'm excited to see her.
Now, her opponent in Melissa Karagianis had a bit of a rough road in her career. Started 3-2, but has fallen to 3-6 and was in PFC at PFC 12, where she was defeated by unanimous decision by Randy Field. So she's really hungry for a win here. Claudia Baril is in an interesting spot because she's fresh to this. No wins, no losses. She doesn't know what the taste of victory or defeat is like yet in her professional career, and she has the opportunity to open up on a win, continuing Karagianis' streak in the wrong direction. But on the other hand, Melissa's got a chance against a much less experienced opponent to halt it.
Yeah, you know, I'm looking at who's coming out with her. So they've got shirts and they've got the backdrop, and she's got a world-class kickboxing coach, and she's got somebody from Brazilian top team. And it's like, you know, they're not here because they expect hopefully she'll do pretty good. Like, clearly we're looking at a very dangerous fighter here. I'm excited to see this. I'm starting to recognize who's coming out with her from being around the Quebec scene, and they don't just represent anybody.
So that makes things even more interesting. That is a very experienced corner that she's going to be working with. And you're right, Robin, they're obviously not thinking she's just here to put on a show. She's here to win.
So earlier tonight, you were talking about how hard it is to find information. In the Quebec ranks, there are all these amateur shows and just, you know, south of amateur type smokers. And I'm watching her warm up here, and she's been around already. Pro fights or no pro fights, this is a real fighter.
And her opponent, making her way out to the red corner, please welcome Melissa Karagianis.
Melissa Karagianis, we know a bit about. 3-6, as mentioned in her career. Her nickname is Magic, and she can be that inside the cage. She opened up, we mentioned, Robin, 3-2. Yep. She's got the skills, but somewhere along the line, the rut started, and she hasn't been able to battle her way out of it yet. To her credit, though, she continues to battle.
Yes, and that, you're absolutely right. That is to your credit. You know, hey, when things get tough, who are you? Do you quit and go, oh, well, that was cool, I used to fight, then I started losing? Or do you go, well, I'm going to fight my way through it, I'm going to take the tests, I'm going to repair, I'm going to relearn, I'm going to make the adjustments necessary, I'm going to reface it, I'm going to be truthful with myself. I lost because of this error or this mistake of mine, how do I improve it? That's who she is. That's also why she's so popular. There's a ton of people here who want to see her fight. They've seen her at her best, and they've seen her come up short, and she keeps doing it, and that is something to respect.
She debuted with a lot of fanfare because of the skill set. She's incredibly skilled. But at the same time, that can work two ways. If you rely too much on that and forget the heart, the battle, what it takes to be a fighter, and just rely on, I can be flashy, I can be skillful, it can hurt you. She's gone back to the drawing board, and it looks like she's ready to go.
And expectations are weird, my friend. Like, when people start getting really excited about you, they start writing articles, they start saying, oh, man, we've seen this girl, she's amazing. Now, all of a sudden, you're going in with different meaning. In the end, all the fight is a contest against a skill set and a body type. That's it. Come in here and express your combat in a skill set body type matchup with another human being. But when you start worrying about how many followers you have and how people judge you and what people expect of you, and 2 wins from now we'll fight for a title, or any of these things start getting in your head, they distract you from the mission. The mission is simple. That's a human being who's trained to fight you. They are a skill set and a body type. Go in and be free.
Now, Randy Field, who Melissa fought at PFC 12, is an incredibly talented fighter that has a very bright future, and that future is going to come quickly. And she took Randy to a unanimous decision. So we know what Melissa can do when she's on her game. The question is, can she get back on the roll? If she does, Robin, there's a whole lot of straw weights coming through the ranks that PFC could find to start working with her and getting into fights in the cage. Let's go back into the cage to Mr. Throwdown.
PFC fight fans. The following girl fight is being brought to you by USG Canada, Sovereign Extracts, and Cool Kids Ice and Water. Scheduled for 3 rounds in the women's strawweight division. Here are your fighters. First, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing the black and red trunks. Standing 5 feet 5 inches tall, she weighed in at 115.6 pounds. She's a kickboxing specialist representing Team Bergeron. She comes to the PFC cage for her professional debut fight tonight. Fighting out of and representing Actonville, Quebec, ladies and gentlemen, here is Claudia Baril.
Bergeron is a legitimate striking coach.
Her opponent across the cage, fighting out of the red corner, wearing the gray trunks. Standing 5 feet 4 inches tall, she weighed in at 115.4 pounds. She's a Muay Thai specialist representing 6 MMA. She comes to the PFC cage with a record of 3 wins and 6 losses. Fighting out of and representing Toronto, Ontario, ladies and gentlemen, here is Magic Melissa Karagianis. Referee Ivan Spetz with final fight instruction.
Ladies, maybe it was in the backstage. Fight hard, but fight clean. Protect yourself at all times. Obey my command all damn times. If you want to touch the gloves, do it now. Good luck.
Claudia Baril looks
Ladies and
real
gentlemen,
focused.
We talked a little bit about some of the history of Canadian fighting, mixed martial arts. Team Bergeron, Team Legion, BTT Canada, TriStar. Quebec has a lot of that history, and so it's cool to have a Bergeron fighter here.
Yeah, you talked about the OGs earlier in Canadian MMA, and we're right back up that alley again as Melissa Karagianis is wearing the multicolored trunks in the cage. It's Baril in the white and black as Baril takes the center of the cage and Karagianis is working on the outside.
Baril's elbows are flared. See that? So let's see if you start throwing body kicks and body punches. See how flared her elbows are? Once they're out like that, that gives you an angle to kick that body. Sometimes that's a bait. Now, it's a young fighter. I'd be surprised if it is a bait, but it can be. Somebody wants you to kick to set a trap for you.
Karagianis is working around the outside, and she's working very slowly here, Robin, trying to get her wits about her in the cage. This is a big fight for her. She wants this win. She's taking her time, looking for what she can find in Baril's defenses to attack.
We talked about maybe Baril is baiting you into kicking her body to catch it, and then all of a sudden, Melissa catches a kick. That's why, judgment, sometimes we look and we go, oh, look, their hands are down. Or, as humans, we have a typical desire, for, especially sitting on our couch and being entertained, to sometimes judge, think we know what we're seeing. Oh, their elbows are out. That's a mistake. Well, it might not be. It might be a bait. Your reaction to think it's a mistake makes you react predictably. Now you start kicking the body, which is what they wanted all along. That's why the judgment is something that they manipulate and take advantage of.
Absolutely. Is Melissa backing Claudia up? Claudia drives forward.
Dwayne Ludwig did a seminar, actually at Crew Jeff's place. Crew Jeff was just in with Crew Joe. And Dwayne was like, we don't show any flaws unless we show them on purpose, right? And that's what that's getting at, is if we create an opening for you and you take it, you taking it is you doing what I want from you. And then I counter you. So it's an interesting dynamic. Both of these two are downloading all that information about each other and making their catching, responding, kicking.
And it's tough to do in fast motion like this as we're approaching the halfway point of round one, and both have taken a bit of that game-playing approach around the outside, showing some different angles, showing some different stylistic maneuvers. And Baril going back to that inside leg kick. Baril on the exit came through with the right hand.
So when she kicked, Melissa went to grab. When she responded, that's a good, well-timed one backing up. Melissa then responded trying to punch, and then Claudia punched her back. So it's a game. It's a game of playing cards, and as you play them, you play a card in response to somebody else, but also to get a card from them. It's also a conversation. That kick is an opener. We're saying something. Now we're saying it again. Now we're adding another word to the sentence, and Melissa now tries to interrupt that sentence, and we interrupt her back. It's just a conversation. It's a physical conversation.
Well, I think Melissa tried to put the exclamation point on that conversation with a pair of right hands.
Turn it up into a debate and then maybe ultimately an argument, right? And that's the game.
I love the way of thinking on that line. As a jab from Baril did jack the jaw of Melissa Karagianis, but it doesn't seem to have bothered her all that much. She's still driving forward. Baril staying calm to the outside. And whether those flared elbows are the bait or not, Robin, she does seem very calm for a debuting fighter. She's not panicking even when Melissa comes forward. She's staying in, she's throwing her shots, and she's still right there.
You know, sometimes even that idea of a bait, all you really want is somebody to attack. Let's say you do your best when you interrupt somebody else's attack. Well, then you leave openings. They'll attack, you'll interrupt them.
Now she knows she can do it. She's standing in there against a veteran opponent, as you mentioned. Baril's debut fight. This is the 10th for Karagianis.
Well, that's the other one. We're trying to look up information. Never mind amateur MMA. How many amateur kickboxing and Muay Thai bouts are there going on in small towns in Quebec that maybe she's fought in that we can't find online, right? Because this is not somebody fighting for the first time. This is somebody fighting professionally in a mixed martial arts fight for the first time. But if you look at Claudia, she's fought a lot. You can feel it.
Yeah, she's way too calm for somebody that's just debuting flat out in mixed martial arts. Sure, it's her first mixed martial arts fight, but it is not her first fight by any stretch. As she backed Karagianis up that time, Karagianis answered with a kick coming off the cage.
And she's throwing punches on different tangents now, coming from low and high on different angles, and then backing back out. So that's what she is trying to dictate this. Get in, strike 2, maybe 3 times, maybe 4. Get out. If you pursue, she'll land on the way out. So she's dictating that game right now.
Just under 20 seconds left in the first round.
They're pretending to go down to see if you can get a reaction.
And so much of this fight has been about trying to bait reactions out of their opponent. Oh, nice exchange up top. Forget baiting. That was the full deal as they grapple and both land punches on the exit.
So she beat her to that. That saying, you beat him to the punch. That's a metaphor we use in all types of things, but she literally did that. She felt Melissa's left hand coming, and she right hand beat it to the chin. And then if you do beat that, your hand gets where it's going, and your shoulder ends up protecting you. As your hand reaches its target, your own shoulder and arm can catch their answer, or you move your out of the way as it's happening. So that was beautiful. You could see Claudia got better as that round went on.
She started to feel more and more comfortable, started to open up more and more, but both ladies are still well in this fight. Robin, that one, we've been talking about it round after round tonight. That is a tough round to score.
Yes, it is. But, you know, and again, earlier I pointed out that one round I thought was incorrect, and I rarely do that, but sometimes that's so, and we say it without judgment or hostility. It's just, that seems to be the case. But this one, a lot of the time, as these judges are learning, many of them come up through boxing. So they came up as boxing judges for many years, sometimes 10, 20, sometimes 30 years, and then later, like MMA in Ontario has been legal for what, 6? Not many, 7 maybe? It's hard to remember.
10,
but
I think just about
maybe
10.
10 now? Wow. But so now, 10 years later, they will be so experienced with the punching and somewhat to some degree the striking of all kinds that you might get a more accurate judge, or you might get a more accurate score when the fight's on their feet. So in that one, I feel like Claudia won that round. I feel like she was able to get to her more, and she dictated how it moved and who was throwing when and who was landing when.
I mean, if you're judging by damage, Claudia did the more damage in that first round, as Melissa's got a mouse underneath the eye. Oh, Claudia comes up top with a head kick off the back leg. And now throwing side kicks to the body. And
a hard one from Melissa coming in. Now, Melissa's storming in a little bit. Those side kicks, when one retracted, Melissa threw a right hand and landed it.
She's really looking to attack Baril now, as she came in with the left hand that missed, but the right hand found a home, and now trying to walk her down and just follow up.
So fighting at its best, and when like this fight, the way that these two are fighting with each other, moving with each other, the dynamic that they've created is kind of an altered state of consciousness, altered perception of the world. You know, they're not hearing sound the way the rest of us are hearing it right now. They're not experiencing time the way we are. So what happens is they're in it now. So round 2 is much easier often than round 1 is. See how they're flowing, now they're fighting. Their mind and body are in a fight now. So it's easier to just go be in a fight, and that's why you're seeing them both open up. You're seeing Melissa do a lot better in round 2.
Yeah, it seems the more that Claudia's brought to her, it's almost woken Melissa up a bit. It's driven her on, and she's starting to win those exchanges.
Yeah, and her vision is good now. Her focus is really good. She's stepping in and out. She's dictating. Then she's responding.
Hand. And that one stung Claudia, who's now on the bike.
Excellent round right now for Melissa.
Trying to walk Claudia down. Now, she's going to have enough time here to be able to get the senses back. Everything's going to recenter for her, but Melissa's still pressing.
She just took shin on knee, man. That hurts. Everything hurts. We haven't the royal we who do this job, we haven't always done that great of a job of letting people see that. Every time a bone hits a bone, it hurts.
Absolutely.
It isn't just the things that score in video games, the knuckles to the liver or to the chin. All of that.
Spinning back fist lands by Melissa.
Melissa is going step into shot, and there's the answer. You see Melissa, excellent work, then to the grab and then to the kick. Melissa's flowing beautifully right now. But watch, she's going to step 2 times before she throws something. Watch. Here it comes. What? Nope, now she's only stepping 1 time. So once you become predictable, she did it a lot, she then reset. Because
well, I picked it up, Robin, as you were talking about it, and off the 2-step it was a feint, and then off the 1-step she threw.
Yeah.
So she's mixing up the rhythm now.
Yeah, she fell into a moment or two where she just did what felt good.
Spinning back fist didn't land, and a straight right did from Claudia Baril. And she's walking Melissa down. Melissa staying right into that clinch.
And it landed unset, and with your vision not locked in. It's the one you don't see. That one really rocked her. That's a tough one to take. Off balance, your vision just trying to reset, and somebody talking about stepping in. 2 or 3 steps running in to throw that right hand, clobbered Melissa with it.
That's a tough moment for Melissa here, Robin, because she was winning this round pretty convincingly. Now Claudia's put herself right back in the conversation.
Yes, she has. Whoever wins, almost to the point that it can sway either way now. So you have to win these last minutes of this round if you're either of these ladies. And, of course, that makes it exciting.
Melissa going right back to what was scoring for her earlier. She went for the inside leg kick. Claudia Baril answers with one of her own. Again, Claudia looking low inside.
Minute and a half left. There you see, what I'm talking about is you see her body working into a step to do, there again.
Claudia just missed that head kick.
And there it is again. She's running in. That's why she got hit with the right hand. But it's also, and again with the right hand, but it's also what we say when we see a fighter's down. We say, you got to let it all go. You got to just go for it. That's what we're talking about. The reason fighters sometimes don't do it is because you get hit coming in. To go for it is to just be reckless, and it's dangerous. It's dangerous to be reckless when you're there. Again, we see it.
Oh, absolutely it is. As Melissa's been caught a couple times coming in. She's landed strikes on it, but she's taken just as good, if not better, than she's gotten.
Whoa! These two are really going for it.
Claudia answers up high, going with the right hand. Melissa had one of her own ready for her.
What you see when you do that slightly, and they're both landing spinning kicks and spinning attacks and spinning back fists.
Melissa charged in as Claudia went for that spinning back fist.
It is dangerous to charge in, but it's also, a demonstration of your grit. How bad that idea that you want the victory so bad, you want to be successful with what you're doing, with what you're expressing, that you charge in.
Melissa charges in that time, looking for the double leg. Claudia able to fight it off. They exchange right hands. Melissa had a kick right at the end of the round that's parried away, and we're through 2 rounds of great action in the women's strawweight division. And Robin, Claudia had round 1.
Yep.
Melissa started off round 2 very well. That right hand slowed her down. Did she do enough to secure the round?
Very, very difficult to say. If I was in her corner and they're talking to her now, we would say we absolutely need to keep doing this, turn it up. So when you see her doing those hard steps to kind of go charging in or blurting into the sentence, you can see that they're dangerous. You can see she's getting hit, but it's a reflection of, like I said, her desire to win. It's like, I feel like I'm not winning this round, so I gotta just, quote, try harder. I gotta grip the steering wheel harder. That's not always the answer, but it's admirable. It's a reflection of the intense desire for victory.
This is the third and final round, this women's
Final
matchup.
5 on the women's side. Melissa Karagianis against Claudia Baril. And we've seen a tremendous back and forth battle again here tonight. Again, Robin, we go back to talking about Alex Caparici, Woodrow James, our matchmakers here for PFC. Every fight so far tonight has been so well put together.
Yeah, beautifully so. And again, we try to expose any truths so that people know them, and those are my friends. So when I say they're brilliant matchmakers, I say that by acknowledging that truth. But that doesn't make it not true. These are brilliant, brilliant fights put together by 2 guys who take a lot of pride in the unique skill of identifying how to put the little puzzle pieces of skills and attributes and will and desire and history and team and all those things together to make these fights, and they've done it beautifully tonight.
And of course, they can be both things, friends and tremendous matchmakers.
That's right, which is why
nice exchange of right hands.
I think a lot in this podcast world we live in, where people speak a little more outside of the realm of just talking like you're in television, you can put in truths like that. You can put in truths of these 2 fighters, where they come from. And this is just, we're just here having fun. We're here watching. They're the ones doing the hard work.
Absolutely.
Look at these 2. Look at what they've dedicated their life to coming in here in these moments and showing their heart and their guts and their toughness. The rest of us, last night, Joe Rogan and Cormier said we're professional fans. I mean, aren't we all? Look
Absolutely.
at this. Look at
Great
this.
exchange again. Both throwing right hands. They're throwing heavy here for round 3.
And again, Melissa being driven by will, right? If she were to pull back on some of that desire, she might see more clearly that being subtle or finding a different line might be the answer, but that's not who she is. Who she is somebody who is driven by her passion, and she passionately wants to win these exchanges. That's why she's blurting her way in.
Claudia trying to keep her on the outside with that kick. Melissa steps in and they exchange again.
The bone across the sternum is a painful shot there that Melissa landed. And of course, she ate 2 punches in the meantime. So, and we're talking about Melissa's desire, her heart, her passion to come in. Well, Claudia is doing exactly what you want to do against that. And that is slowly draw the energy out of her, counter her, land on her when she comes in, be the more clever fighter.
Well, that time it was Claudia who came in with a Superman-style punch and landed as Melissa tried to get the left through. Claudia reaching forward, Melissa able to step back out of the way. They both exchange again, left hands for each.
I think Melissa took some bad shot in and around the eye because she was touching it. And often when something feels out of the normal, that's when a fighter does that. So she was backed up and she was touching around her eye. If you get an injury to the bones around the eye, it's very shocking.
Oh,
so
taken down by Claudia, and that was heavy.
Yeah, and you saw how she's now performing slightly differently. Sometimes you have a physiological response to a shot, and something happened there for sure. Something happened to her for sure.
Yeah, there's another mouse around the eye of Melissa Karagianis, and I believe it's the opposite eye this time.
Oh, no,
she has
that's...
it under.
Yeah, no, the right eye now. I don't know if you can see it. We can.
It's over the top of the eye.
Yeah, and it's bad.
And Claudia's gone right back to it.
Yeah, smart. That's what she should be doing. And Melissa's going to try to look for that arm. But no, see how she's covering it up? When you take damage to the bones of the eye like that, you know, this fighter wants to keep fighting. We've seen that, but the ref is taking a peek here, and if you get the right break, we bring the doctor in here. That's what we want. Yeah, it's our camera people will try their best to get in there and let you see it, but
yeah, we're in a spot where we're gonna have to be careful here.
Yeah, we also, you know, this is something. It's important that we don't affect what they hear here as well, right? They are directly in front of us. And it's their fight, not the audience's fight or our fight or anybody else's fight. It's their fight. So now they've gotten a little further away, but we can comment on that. I really admire Claudia doing what you need to do here. When you have an injured fighter, it is your responsibility to get this done. You know, the ref really needs to be in there. You can see he's focused on it.
She slid her hand
There
under
we
the
go.
throat, got to it, and it's over.
Done. Now,
Rear naked choke, submission win. Claudia
So,
Baril's going to start off her career 1-0.
yeah, honestly, you see her covering that. There's a real injury there, and you want to credit her because most people stop there. Like, watch as they treat her right now. Most people, you'll see that swelling. If there's damage to the orbital bone and the area around it, you feel it immediately. It's not just a regular punch to the eye. It's not like, wow, that hurt. You can see the reaction is something to trauma there. So let's credit her for fighting through what, honestly, I've seen hundreds of fighters not be able to continue right there.
Yeah.
And because you could see it in her body language, you could see it in her physiological response. She's badly injured there, and she fought with a lot of heart. And the ref did his best to kind of keep an eye on it and see if there was a chance to either end the fight if need be or get the doctor in. And Claudia did the right thing. There was a last-minute moment where Claudia pushed down on the back of her head after she won. That's just an instinctual, visceral reaction sometimes to fighting. But yeah, Melissa took a rough one there. I hope she's not, you know, she's not too down about losing a fight, because that's a damage to it, and she showed a lot of guts to keep fighting.
Yeah, and that's a very emotional fighter right now as Melissa Karagianis. Claudia Baril goes over to shake her hand, and boy, it's a tough one on the end. Melissa is a bit despondent at the moment. She's definitely upset with what's happened on the end here, as Robin Black is going to head into the cage. Didn't mean to take anything away at the end of the call from the rear naked choke submission victory from Claudia Baril. She did a great job to pull that off, but it was, as Robin said, it was a tough moment because Melissa obviously has something wrong with that eye, and we're going to go back into the cage to Mr. Throwdown.
Ladies and gentlemen, a big round of applause, please, for both of the fighters in this cage. Your tap out came at 3 minutes 58 seconds of the third round for your winner by rear naked choke submission, Claudia Baril.
Claudia, congratulations. That was a very, very intense fight. I think you did, there was a shot that you landed on her to the eye. I think you did some real damage. Could you tell she was hurt?
I think she's hurt, yeah, but she's very strong. Honestly, I thought I was finish her with my punch, but submission. But I'm okay with that.
Yes, take it how you can get it, my friend. Now, this was your first professional MMA fight, correct? But you've had kickboxing.
My first MMA fight.
Your first MMA fight. How much kickboxing? Yes, let's hear it for Claudia. How much kickboxing experience did you have coming in?
I have 7 amateur kickboxing fights in Muay Thai, and I have a lot of boxing fights, but not a lot, but maybe 12 and that's it.
Well, congratulations, Claudia. It was an honor to commentate your fight, and now you are a professional mixed martial artist with a record of 1 win and no losses. Congratulations.
Thank you for everyone here. You're a very nice people, and thank you for Prospect MMA, very professional league. And I want to merci my coach, my chum, and thank you for my family right there, my parents. And I want to thank all my sponsors on the, well, not there right now, but thanks for my sponsor in Quebec. And of course, I want to fight here again.
Merci beaucoup. Claudia Baril, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much.
Claudia Baril, pride of Drummondville, Quebec. She makes her professional mixed martial arts debut, as she said to Robin, her first MMA fight. Obviously has some experience with combat sports, as she mentioned to Robin, but in her first professional mixed martial arts fight, comes away with a rear naked choke submission victory over a 10